last type of chart or graph is a pie chart. So with pie charts, we have this circle that represents the total amount of something, and each of these pieces represent a certain percentage. So the entire pie chart is 100%, and each of these pieces represents a percentage of that total amount. So that's just something to keep in mind as we go through some of these questions, and you'll see kind of how those all relate. So our first question says the pie chart shows the functions of all employees of a company and their numbers. How many employees work for this company? So this one's pretty easy. It shows you how many of each of these types of employees there are. So 11 managers, 19 technicians, et cetera, et cetera. So with this, we're just going to add 16 plus 33 plus 19 plus 20 plus 11. So we can add all of those up in your calculator. And when you do that, you should get 99, which is C. What percentage of these employees are engineers? So if we kind of think back to some of the things we've done with percentages and fractions and decimals, we have a part over the whole. So we've already determined that the whole is 19 or 99. So the whole, which is our denominator, is 99. And the amount of employees that are engineers is 20. So we have 20 over 99. So that can give us a percentage. So when we do 20 divided by 99 to convert it to a decimal, so if we say 20 divided by 99 to get a decimal, we get 0.202. And then if we were to convert it to a percentage, we'd move that decimal point 2 places to the right, and we get 20.2%. So this is also another representative of how those fractions and decimals and percentages and knowing how to convert between all three of them is very helpful in other parts of the test, not just ones that are specific to fractions or specific to decimals or specific to percentages. These can kind of be, let's look at another pie chart. So this graph represents the results of the senior class election at Washington High. According to the rules, the candidates who receive the most votes will become the class president. The candidate who finishes second will become the vice president, and the candidate who finishes third will become the class secretary treasurer. Who will be the secretary treasurer? All right, so if we look at this, it gives us a little key right here. So this red right here is Carson. This is Franklin. We have Hall, Johns, and Lamont. The reason I did that is just because it's easier for us to look at this. If you need to make doodles on your sheets, if you need to write on your scratch paper, do so because it can really, really help you. I know that you're taking the test online, so it's not as easy to sit and write the names in like I'm doing right now, but if you can make little notes to yourself on your paper, that can be really helpful. So it says that the candidate who comes in first will be the class president. So if we look at this, we're looking at who has the biggest section. And if we look at that, the biggest section of votes was Hall. So this is our first place. So he is our president. So we know that Hall is not the secretary treasurer. It says the candidate who finishes second will become vice president. So if we look at this, Lamont is second, so he is the vice president. So we know that he's not the secretary treasurer either, so we can eliminate that. So we can eliminate answer choice B. So we're looking at these. So we've already said that Hall is the one with the most amount. Lamont has the second most amount. The third most amount, if you look, is Johns right here. He is in third place. So in this case, Johns will be the secretary treasurer because he got the third most votes. According to the rules, if a candidate receives over 50% of the votes, they will win outright. If no candidate receives 50% of the votes, there will be a runoff election between the top two finishers. Which of the following is a result of the election? So I'm going to erase my notes up here so we can look at this a little better. So the first thing that we have to think about, is there a candidate that got 50% or more of the votes. So 50% would be half. If I draw a line right down the middle of that. And there's no candidate that got over half or more. This Hall right here in green got almost half, but did not get all of them. So we cannot say that Hall won or that Lamont won because they did not get 50% or more. So in this case, it's saying that if they don't receive 50% or more, there will be a runoff election between the top two finishers. So we need to decide now, as a second part, which are the top two finishers. So we have Hall right here in green, and then we have this blue right here, which is Lamont in second place. So we can say Hall and Lamont will face each other in a runoff. And then if we look back to this question, we can answer this third question. Which two did not win a seat on the student council? So we decided that Hall was president. Hall came in first. Lamont was second. Third was over here. Johns was the secretary treasurer. And then we have these two who did not win a seat. Those two are Carson and Franklin did not win a seat. So Franklin and Carson, that's answer choice B. All right, so I'm going to give you a pie chart to answer a question on your own, and we'll review it together. Go ahead and dive right into this one. So this one is another pie chart that involves student body president election results. In it, we have the name and the number of votes listed next to the section that it correlates with right here. So let's look at this question that it has listed here. How many people voted against Vickers? So we have Vickers over here, which has 387 votes. So these voted for Vickers, and the rest, all of this, voted against Vickers. So those are the ones that we need to add up. So let's go ahead and look at those. We have Ullman with 133, Young with 59 votes, Zimmerman with 512 votes, and Williams with 433 votes. If I were to go ahead and add those all together in my calculator, 133 plus 59 plus 512 plus 433, I get 1,137, which is C. All right, and that's the end of all of our charts.